Welcome to the second season of Under the Onion Skin, the podcast to get closer to independent animation directors and get to know some behind the scenes of their short films. My name is Giulia Martinelli, and each time I talk to a different director about an animated film they made. With this podcast, I hope to be able to capture a glimpse of what I love mostly about film festivals, to have something to listen to when we're back to our regular lives and desks, but most of all to celebrate beautiful films, talented artists, and storytellers. Welcome to Under the Onion Skin. Hello there. I'm so glad to bring you today a lovely chat I had at Fantoche Animation Festival with Nina Gantz about her stop-motion short film Wonder to Wonder. Not only did this film collected a nice number of awards, but it is now shortlisted for the Oscars. In the background, you will hear a party going on at the Swiss festival. In this episode, among other things, we talk about the problem-solving role of the director, rewriting a story, and stop-motion puppets. Enjoy. And the festival is in the background.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
Yeah, nice. I listened to some. It was really nice.
Yes, you did.
I always like to listen to other people's stories about how they made films because, you know, it's not easy. And there's always a story.
Yeah.
It's never straightforward. So it's always nice as a maker, you know, to hear other people talk about their process. It's intriguing.
I also feel so, and I also feel even more with animation because they're usually short films and we spend so much time doing them. Then you watch them 5 minutes, it's done.
Yeah.
And there's so much more underneath. There is all the process and the struggles.
Yeah.
And I think it's important as filmmakers, but also as humans, to share this.
Yeah.
And to talk about it.
And also, like, today, it's been like probably 8 years for me since I've been to an animation festival, because my previous film was 8 years ago, and I forgot how much I loved it, going to animation festivals, because I've been in two compilations, like 2 screenings, and it's just the different worlds, you know, the different like worlds animators create. You're every single moment you're like in a completely new world, and it's so intriguing, like why people make certain things and what is in their heads, and it's so much. It's so rich. That's why I always get very, very tired from animation festivals. You're probably very tired now as well. Also other reasons. But, I mean, it's like so many impressions and so many different worlds.
Yeah.
It's way different than watching a feature film. These short films. But
definitely.
So inspiring. And I feel like ready to make something wild again.
I agree 100%. And especially it's the intensity, because I think we go from a very lonely, silent work to this very intense week, and then back to the silence.
Yeah, I mean, thank God for that.
But sometimes it's really extreme. It's extreme, but it's nice.
Yeah.
And you were also around with this film before, or you said because you didn't visit a festival in a long time?
Yeah, I visited. Like this film premiered in Venice, which is a very different kind of festival.
Yep.
Not really my kind of festival, but it was fun to experience.
Yep.
You know, it was a lot of glamour, fake glamour actually, and not so many films. So it's different. So yeah, I haven't really experienced a festival like animation festival as such. So it's nice to be in the bubble, in the Fantoche. And then I've never been to Fantoche before, and I heard it's really good. I'm looking forward going into watching a film in a bath.
Yes.
Right? I heard it's good.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Not this year,
not
but
this year.
there is like Bagno Popular is like basically a screen in the water.
I mean, how great is that? I have to experience that. So I'm gonna do it all in 2 days.
Yeah, you should, definitely. And you arrived today?
Yeah,
yesterday.
Yesterday night.
Yeah, okay. Then I really hope you can enjoy this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up as long as I can. So
that's a good start. Yes. No, I'm very happy that we managed to meet and that we can talk about your film. which I watched like a couple of days ago. And I told you, I heard good things about it already before from some friends that were at Turku Animation Festival in Finland.
Yeah.
And so I was very pleased to watch it, and I'm very happy to have the chance to talk to you a little bit about it. There is some live action, and there is some stop motion, and
it's
tell
mostly
me
stop
more.
It's mostly stop motion. I would
Yes.
say for 98%
Definitely.
it's stop motion.
Yeah.
And just to start with that, I guess the live action combined with stop motion. That's really what I started with. That idea that I wanted to make something with like this old technique of combining live action and stop motion. Like I had as references like Jason and the Argonauts. You know, all the like these old Ray Harryhausen films. I love those. And the thing is, if you look at those, they just stand the test of time. They don't get old. Like you see it's stop motion, you see it's like handmade, but it looks good and it just works. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to try that technique out, so I knew that I wanted to make something with that, and I wanted to explore a bit of live action as well. And so like it was 8 years ago that I came up with that particular idea, and then I was talking to my friend Simon Cartwright, who I was in the graduation year with, like at the National Film School, and we came up with this idea of a TV show host keeping these puppets, these real little humans that were actors in a kids' TV show. He was keeping them captive in his studio. So it was about that much more 8 years ago, and it evolved to really just being with those three little humans stuck in this TV show studio, and they keep on making this film or the series, and it gets weirder and weirder and more dramatic,
Tragic comic.
Yeah. So, but 8 years ago it was much more about that that kind of, you know, it came from those scandals that back in the, I think, I don't really remember when it came out like 8 years ago, around 8 years ago, these scandals of abuse in like kids TV shows in England, and I didn't really want to talk about like the abuse of that kind, but the idea that this really happy TV show, these happy TV shows had this sinister darkness behind it that was very interesting. And I think we left the whole abuse idea behind, but the darkness in contrast with the lightness and the kind of colorful TV show is still there.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, a little bit of the abuse is there in the sense that they are captive. Yeah. So they are, they probably don't know about the outside world. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely this, you can feel this gloomy like atmosphere. And I enjoy the mix of fun and tragic, and both in the actual story, because they are supposed to be cheery, happy characters, but they are in this situation, but also of the film itself, because you are telling a tragic story, but full of humor.
Yeah. I think when you want to tell something that like kind of tragic or dark, I think you need a bit of lightness and a bit of humor to tell that. Otherwise, you can't really take it in, or it's too much. So that's the line I'd like to walk with most of the things I like to make. So that's right. It's good that you got that. You still got a bit of the humor out. When I was making it, actually, I was thinking it was a very funny film. I was just thinking it was quite fun, and then I was putting it together, and I found out that because you live so much with the characters, you really feel for them. It became much more tragic than I thought it would be, which is funny, like after, you know, obviously so long working on it, that you can still be surprised about the end result in that sense. So maybe I should have put more lightness in it, I don't know, but this is what
no, I mean, I feel it works very well, and I agree with you 100% about using humor when talking about heavy stuff, definitely. So yeah, I can only appreciate that. But yeah, you were talking about the process, and it took a long time. And can you tell me more about, the ups and downs of the production? How many people you had? How was it? I guess there was the pandemic in the middle.
Yeah, there was the pandemic that took so it took 8 years, and actually because it was quite an ambitious stop motion project, I couldn't get the money from one country to make it. I needed multiple countries to help me fund it. So in the end, actually, it became a four country co-production.
Wow.
So that's a lot for a short film.
Which countries?
So I live in England, so I did the writing, the animatic, the voice record, and the model making of the faces. We did it in England. Then the puppet making was done in the Netherlands. The filming was done in Belgium, in actually a part of Belgium. You can't film in anywhere in Belgium. It has to be in Flanders, like in the particular part. It was in Mechelen. And we did the post-production in the south of France.
Wow.
I have to say it was nice to end up in the south of France, actually. Okay. But and also Belgium was, amazing in terms of that we had a really nice place to film, but it was an industrial park in winter, so it was grim, but if you're gonna be in a dark place for 5 months, why not in winter, right? So,
right.
So it was quite tricky to be working with a lot of people I didn't know and didn't know me. I mean, I'm still quite amazed that everybody 8 years ago signed up for something while they didn't really know me and still stuck with the project. Although we had a lot of up and downs. So yeah, there was all sorts of things happening, which I won't go into detail. But so I think at some point Beast Animations lost their studio, and it was just a few days or a week before I started filming there. Beast Animation is still working, and they're still producing, making beautiful things, but they lost their studio part, and because of that, they told me don't come because your sets will be taken as collateral damage if you bring them here. So
it's okay, it's empty.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, thanks.
So that was quite something. So they had to find a new place for us to film, and it became a studio that was a post-production house that was an empty shell. So there was nothing there, no piece of wood.
And this was last minute, or
that was a week before we supposed to be shooting. So it got postponed, and then the puppet making got postponed also for personal reasons of the puppet maker. So it was there was an accumulation of things that I often thought in these 8 years, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
COVID, it's not going to happen. Now we're losing everything. We lost funding during COVID as well. So the script got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. So, and if I'm honest, I had to rewrite it because of budget cuts, but I think it did good for the script in the end. I'm most happy with the version I got at the end, so I'm very, in some ways that was a blessing that I had to rewrite it, because it meant that I could really make it my own. Because I started writing it with Simon Cartwright, who is an amazing filmmaker, but he couldn't keep going for this long on the film, so he had to at some point come off because he was working on his own feature film. And then I had to make it my own, and actually COVID kind of gave me the chance to completely rewrite it. It was not focused on the TV presenter anymore. I basically killed him.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. And focused just on those 3 little humans being stuck in the studio and trying to find food and making the show.
But I really appreciate now that you share this part of the story. First of all, the honesty, because it is not easy. It's full of ups and downs. But really, I think you managed to, in a moment of despair, because it is horrible when they postpone and move the studio and you have budget cuts, etc. It's hard to, instead of being down and say, oh damn, to actually use this to find new energy and, as you said, maybe rewrite it and make it better.
Yeah.
Because I think personally, maybe also with client jobs, sometimes I get to a point where, I don't know, do you ruin it so much that you're just thinking, okay, let's just do it and just get over it, even if it's not perfect. But it's great to hear that you manage somehow to make it
Well, I think with a client
work.
job, it's like, you know, you can probably do that. You can say this one is for like the wallet or whatever. But with this film, I did say, like, I'm gonna put so much of my time in it and other people's time actually as well, because that's another thing. But that the rewrite, I only want to do it if the rewrite is better than the previous version. Otherwise, I will quit. I will stop it. And I was very happy that my producer, like my Dutch producer, which was the main producer, she always stood behind me in that decision. I don't know what she would have done if it was really shit and I would have quit, but I liked it better and we pushed it because I was never really happy with the previous version, so that helped.
Yeah, that's good.
So so that's I think a reason. You know, when you make animation, it's gonna take you so long that you have to be pretty sure. Like, why would I waste everyone's time if I think it's not going to be good?
And 8 years of your life.
Yeah, I mean, the filming, in all honesty, I probably have to explain. The 8 years was trying to find funding, rewriting, and making the co-production puzzle work. So where do we film with who, and where do we do what? And then it was 5 months filming in Belgium.
Wow.
So the puppet making was probably 3 months. 5 months filming in Belgium. And then the post-production was like another month or so, or
that's very
2,
fast.
maybe? I can't remember. Do you think?
I think so. Did you have a lot of
I had
animators?
2 animators at the same time working, so I had
2
3
sets? 3 sets.
Yeah, so we had 1 turnaround set, so they could always be working. I mean, in reality, that doesn't really work, but there were 2 animators. But it was pretty tricky because we couldn't really find animators in Belgium, and we needed them out of that region.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic animator, Christine van den Bussen, on it, but we couldn't really find a second animator because also right at the same time Beautiful Man was filming, who had another incredible animations in it and incredible animators on it. So it was quite tricky to get it, but in the end a lot of people jumped in, and we had second animator Sergio Lara. Even David and Ben animated on it, the owners from Beast, and Rosanna Janssen. So yeah.
But very nice.
Yeah.
I'm impressed also because I imagine that it was not 8 years of actual making because it takes a lot of building and co-producing all this administration stuff.
Yeah.
But still, it's impressive. As a director, you have to keep the focus on this story for so long, and still have it in the back of your head for so long. It's hard.
But then the rewrites help to keep making it interesting for yourself.
That's true.
So I did it like that because otherwise I would have gone out. So I needed to rewrite it to make it interesting because you evolve as a maker. You start it was going to be my first film that I combined live action and animation, and then it took so long that I actually did another commercial that combined live action and animation, which in some ways was great because I could test it, in a commercial.
That's great. The best way, so you can use the commercial to test something.
I know,
for
and I do this all the time.
Yeah.
Every time I make a commercial, I do it in a different technique almost every time.
Wow.
So it helps, to evolve your other work.
Definitely, yeah. I was wondering because you mentioned 3 sets, and because your characters are these tiny creatures, did you have them as puppets in different sizes?
No, they were just one size.
Just one size.
Yeah, we didn't have the budget to make different sets or different puppets. So there were doubles, so we could work on both sets. But what was the most tricky is that they go through different stages of destruction. So they start for the flashbacks, they're completely intact, and then at the end they're basically completely destroyed.
They're like apocalypse.
Yes. And actually, I had to actually like destroy them for real.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have, like maybe the one set of puppets is really destroyed to stage 4, we call it, and then one of the other ones are stage 3 destroyed.
But you basically needed to shoot it in a chronological order.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that made it super tricky, and that's also why we had to get deadlines for, when we were done filming with, like, we knew stage 1 had finished, there had to be like a puppet maker, like, or like someone from the puppet team from Pedri Animation had to be ready to be painting them in different, like, because the body had to be painted with dirt and salt and stuff. But it was tricky because they had to be reserved for that day, and trying to get a deadline like that was so difficult.
I can imagine.
So, and also knowing for sure that you're going to paint that puppet the right kind of dirty and not too far, because we couldn't go back, we couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
It was
wild,
and also, so we couldn't really make a mistake with that. And that when you're not sleeping that much and you're in Mechelen already in a dark studio for a long time, that's tricky.
This makes you appreciate even more, I think, the final product, because you know how much struggle or harder it is. It's really tricky, and I feel like as a director you are there between sets and everybody's asking you, is this dirty enough? And you have to improvise. It's very hard in that spot. I feel the more I'm working in this field, I feel like the director's job is to keep calm even if you're not calm, and to find the last minute solutions or to improvise solutions. Really problem solving, because you cannot think about everything, and during production something comes up always. So it's impressive.
I think it is problem solving, isn't it? That's kind of what we do in stop motion, at least. I mean,
even more, I think, in stop motion.
Yeah, it is, and if you know that, like with my first film, stop motion film, it was a bit of a reality check, but I knew it now, so I was like, right, what are we going to problem solve today, and then it's okay. Then it's just part of the process.
Yeah, but you're right, it's even more in stop motion, because in 2D somehow you can plan something, you don't have this pressure of the set. So you can go back maybe and redraw something, but in this situation sometimes
especially if you've ruined the puppets.
If you ruin the puppets even more, but then if you shoot and they're like, we're good, yes, we're good, let's destroy the set, and then, no, the set is gone.
Yeah, we burned the sets at some point, even, for real. So we took them out at some point, all the sets, and then burned them outside. And the whole, the post-production place where we were filming was like smelling like barbecue for weeks.
And you too, probably.
And but I don't care. But they were like just behind their computers thinking, what the hell are they doing back there?
Yes.
And I one night I woke up at 3 o'clock at night, and I thought, did I check that everything was definitely done with smoldering? Like, how wood can look like stop burning from the outside, but inside it's still going. I had a fire in my house, actually, a real fire in my house. It was like 18 years ago or something, and I know what smoldering is. And I just woke up, and I could not obviously go back to sleep, and I had to go in the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock at night, go and check all the sets and see if they were okay. I saw my name in the headlines already, like Dutch animator sets Belgium studio on fire, not in it,
Yeah, but I totally see the anxiety. I mean, sometimes you get worried because you think you left the oven on.
Oh yeah, it's always the glue gun, actually. The glue gun is my, I had to check the glue gun every night.
And imagine a whole set.
Yeah, the whole set. I was like, and luckily I arrived there. I actually went in a cab. And the cab driver was like, oh, you might get famous. I was like, but not the good famous.
It's not funny, shut up.
It's not funny, shut up. Show me the set. So I actually had to touch everything,
Yeah.
A bit like my main character Mary does at some point. She goes really crazy.
Yeah.
And I was just like her. And I was like, oh no, I'm turning into the character. This is not good.
No, but that's so cool.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing this. It's fun, but real anecdotes
for sure.
from the set.
Yeah, my husband I was actually in bed with my husband at the time, and he knew when I woke up that I could not go to the studio.
You woke him up as well.
I mean, I woke him up. But he knew, like, I couldn't just go back to sleep with that thought in my head. No. So he went with me and filmed me while I was touching everything hysterically.
To make fun of you?
Yeah, to make fun of me. I don't even know where that video is, but he has it probably. He's keeping it for a day, that he needs to show it.
No, when you're famous. And this is a behind the scene of your famous short film. No, I totally get it. Come on. Yeah. Especially, I mean, as a director, you are responsible. As you said before, you're responsible for so many people, for so many things. It makes sense you woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning with this fear.
I mean, totally. It's interesting, when you talk about that kind of pressure, because people, like here at the festival as well, people have asked me, like, do you feel pressure after having a previous film that's been successful? Like, do you feel pressure now making a new film? And it has taken 8 years, but if I'm honest, I already feel the pressure anyway, you know, for a whole team that is gonna put all their time in it and all their, and they don't get paid enough, obviously, and they all do it because they believe in this, and that is the pressure. It's not the success of a previous film. Like it's like having a whole team kind of, So that's why I want to do good for them, also for myself, of course. I'm not saying I do everything for other people, but you do feel, especially when you work in a co-production like this, there's so many people involved. Like you just sometimes think, why is my idea worth this? And everybody's attention.
I know the feeling. Sometimes you feel, especially I think when you, as I said before, you're supposed to be the one that has it together, and you don't, because we're humans. There are moments where you're like, what am I doing? Why? And then you look around and you're like, ouch.
I better not say that.
Is it right that everybody's following my story and my dream?
And the thing is, I think you just have to have someone to follow. Like, it's not like I don't think I've got everything right. I'm definitely not. Like I have got a lot to learn and a lot to, but at least I know that what I have in my head, I can follow that, and at least then it becomes one vision. Yeah. So I think I cling on to that.
But I think that's it. Like it's not because the director is necessarily the one that knows everything, but maybe because you embrace this not knowing. Actually, right now I'm working on a pre-production, and it's the first time in my short film career that I am not alone in the pre-production, and I have some collaborators and I let people in, and I find it even more humbling because it's a state where I am still not sure about things. And again, it's not the director knowing everything and saying, you do this. I'm still developing the film, so I'm there saying, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. Let's work on this.
Let's figure it out together.
And so, exactly. So I'm starting to embrace it more, the director's role as a humbling experience of someone who's open to be in this uncomfortable situation. And still try to make a film.
Yeah. It is.
And it's very. I really appreciate even more the collaborators in that case, because otherwise you cannot do it. You really need the help of these people.
So is this a stop motion film or?
No, it's a 2D.
2D film, okay.
Yeah. Like I discovered animation. I got into animation thanks to stop motion, but then after the animation school, I just did the 2D.
Okay.
Yeah. I think even more in stop motion, you need this problem solving on the spot. Yeah.
I mean, you need other people around you that help you problem solve, that's for sure. But if you know that you're going to be problem solving something that day, then it's fine. I had an amazing director of photography on this. He's called Steven Frederiks. He did also all Nienke Deus's stuff. I don't know if you know her.
Yes, I also interviewed
Oh,
her.
great! Yeah, I think I listened to it. He's also her DOP and mine, and he has this brain, this problem-solving brain. So I can advise anyone who does any animation in Belgium, get him on your project, because he built a motion control from scratch for my film, because the motion control from Beast was being sold, of course. And we needed it. We needed a motion control for our last 2 shots of the film. And yeah, he just built it. He said he was waiting for the day that he could build a motion control. So he's like, right, this is my moment. And I was like, great, go ahead.
Good attitude, yes, also.
Yeah, it's great. It's
That's
so great.
very nice. Yeah, it's
You
good
need
to have
people
these
like that
people.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and I would have not met him if I stayed working, of course, in the UK. So there's the whole co-production. It's hard, definitely hard, because you just don't know. You don't call people up so easily, but you also make new connections. And,
Yeah, it's good to look at those good, silver lining or like
exactly.
good things. Yeah, that's very nice. I love this, to meet directors and jump into the making talk. I really appreciate it, and I'm very happy I managed to watch your film.
Yeah, there's so. I mean, you can talk about filmmaking for forever. I think it's good. I think it's it's good to talk about the struggles, I guess. For other people making stuff.
I agree. I mean, I agree that it's good to talk about the struggles, keeping like a positive attitude, because that's how you get over the struggles. But it's good to be honest.
It's good to be. It's good to maybe say here for the people that are making something right now, or wanting to make something a bit more ambitious or with multiple country co-production. It's good. Hopefully, I wish I would have known some things before I started, but I am pretty, happy I do know now.
Yeah.
This is an animator in the making.
Yes, yes.
A very young animator.
No, yes, right. Because my last question is always about onions.
Onions?
Yes.
Why did I not know?
Do you like onions?
I love onions. Who's against onions?
Many people apparently.
Really?
Yeah, because
no.
they're stink and you don't digest them and they make you cry, and a lot of reasons really.
I mean, cutting onions, it's not so fun. But no, I'm so for onions. I'm all for it. So I'm just wondering about my favorite dish with onions in. But
if you
really,
have one.
if I'm honest, like as soon as you start frying an onion, it feels like you're cooking something good, right? So there must be something good about onions in that sense. You're off to a good start. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
mean, they're pretty much everywhere.
I burn them a lot, but that's because I get distracted.
You burn onions?
I burn everything that I cook. Yeah, you can. I'm a good cook, I think. I'm pretty good, but I burn every single thing.
So we're going back to the burning
nightmare. It all stems from burning onions. That's basically it's full circle. We've got full onion.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was very nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Thanks.
Have a nice evening.
I love this chat with Nina, and I recommend you to check this short film out whenever you can. As usual, you can find all the relevant links in the show notes. 2 of the directors I interviewed this season are in Los Angeles right now, shortlisted for the Oscars, so congratulations and all the best to Nina Gantz, Loic Espuch and their teams. This was Under the Onion Skin. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, with another director and a short animated film. Ciao!